Hi EU4 players, my name is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll continue to talk the tactics for a successful World Conquest speedrun in EU4, taking my own 50 years World Conquest campaign as an example. I've listed the 4 key enablers I think important on the screen: optimize resource, minimize rebel and collisions, stack buffs, and use some exploits. I've already explained the Lambda plus revoke in my second video and the minimize rebels and collisions in my fourth video. If you don't see that yet, welcome to check the link in my description. And today, I'll talk about the Night King approach. In the Q&A session, I'll answer how to convert to Catholic in 1466. If you like my video, please subscribe here. Then let's get started. So, what is Night King approach? In short, for every country I conquered in Asia, Europe, Africa continental, right after I conquer them, even before calling, I can make their land join into HRE, regardless their religion, continental, and then release the original countries as the vassals within HRE. Just like the Night King in Game of Thrones, he resurrects all the dead enemies he killed to join his dead army. So in my game, with the privilege revoked, my vassal swarm with this method also become bigger and bigger. The vassal swarm not only help on battle, but also save my administrative capacity. Actually, the land under my march will contribute more force limit to me rather than my own territory with the same development. And also, as HRE vassals, they don't count as your diplomatic relation. Their liberty trend is easy to control. And finally, just by reforming HRE, I will integrate all these vassals in the end. As you see, in the end, before forming HRE, I have 242 members within HRE. Most of them are released by the Night King approach. So, how to make the province outside of Europe to join HRE? The method is actually quite simple. I'll talk the method first, then explain some tips. The method is to become the HRE Emperor as a non-HRE member. You see our capital is Kola, it's not within HRE, and now we are already HRE Emperor. So you see we have a button here, Join HRE. Once we click Join HRE, all our province, no matter which continental, no matter the religion or something, as long as they have a land connection to HRE province, they will be added into HRE. That's the method. So you see all my province showing here are already added into HRE, including this province in Asia. Yeah, but not this part because this area is not connected. But other part, as long as they have a land connection, no matter what religion they are, no matter I have core or not, even I just conquer them, they'll all be added into HRE by clicking the Join HRE button. However, if our capital is already in HRE, you'll see you cannot click Join HRE anymore. It's Leave HRE button and it's blank now. By clicking the central button, Join all provinces into HRE will not make this trick. It will only join eligible province in Europe to HRE. That's why I think many people are asking how can you join province outside the Europe? Because by the central button, you cannot do that. You can only do the Night King approach by the Join HRE button. That means we need to keep our capital outside of HRE, so then we can repeat this several times. So we'll use the same trick we used for Lambda plus revoke. Let's back to the previous stage where we didn't join HRE yet. We'll give some province to our vassal to isolate our capital first, like this. Now our capital is isolated to other province and also don't have a land connection to HIE province, but we can still click join HIE. After that, the major province which have a land connection already joined HIE, but not our capital. So here the purple background means this province are already in HIE, but there's also a shadow there that means our country is not in HIE yet. Now we also release a vassal as an example. You see the Chahar here, that's still a new country in HIE family. So the method is quite straightforward. Actually, by doing the lambda plus revoke, we've already triggered the first Night King approach. But to maximize its usage, especially in the later total war stage, there's some tips you need to pay attention. I'll talk about these tips, how to maximize the Night King approach benefit. The first tip is to pick a good location for your capital. To join HRE or play the Night King approach, my capital need to stay in Europe, but stay out of HRE. So after privilege revoke, I move my capital to this province, Kumuk, in Caucasia area. It's surrounded by another vassal, Avaria. So I can still click join HRE button, but my capital will not join HRE actually. Now it's 1474. We just finished Total War 1. We've conquered area in northern Italy, here, also in main Eastern Europe and Tartaria. You see, I've started calling for some province but didn't call in other province. You'll know the reason very soon. Since I already got the religious peace, so as HRE Emperor, I can change it to other religion. I don't need to keep Christian. Actually, I'm in Muslim, Sunni religion now. To click the join HRE button, I need to have another eligible province in Muslim religion. So I use this province, make it to join trade company, then it left HRE, and leave the trade company, it become eligible to join. If you have an eligible province and your capital is also eligible, I can click the join HRE button. After click this, all the new conquered land, basically all my land joined HRE now. But I still keep my capital outside of the HRE. Then new vassals released will all be HRE vassals. So that's a perfect place as a capital. It's still in Europe, but it's kind of the central point among Europe, Asian, African continent. That will save the diplomats a lot of time compared to Kola capital. And also with limited province from my vassal Arvan, I can isolate my capital. If I want to switch to Christian, I can move my capital here and then just give this province to Avarian. That can also isolate my capital. That's quite flexible. One more comment. To ensure my capital will not join HRE, the vassal I use to isolate cannot be an HRE country as well. So this province, that's okay, doesn't matter, but my vassal's capital and these two provinces neighboring my capital cannot be HRE province. So before release the vassal and change my capital, I join these four provinces into trade company to make them leave HRE first. The second tip, if I form some countries that move the capital to other place, like forming Bavaria, move to Munich, always move capital back to Kamuk before starting the total war. Because after total war, it's very likely we'll have some rebels there. We annex so many countries, some of them might still have remaining armies that become rebel. And as long as you have rebel, you cannot change your capital. So make sure the capital is already in the right place before starting the war. Then after the war, we can play the Night King approach immediately. You don't need to wait to eliminate the rebels. Sometimes you have many rebels there. That's 2 tips for the capital. Then some tips for choosing the vassal. As you see, we have all land in HRE, so all vassals we release now will be HRE vassal. But which land we should keep and which land we should release to vassals? There are 3 guidelines. The first, always keep the province you need for tech switch and mission tree buff. For example, we'll form Mongolian Emperor later, so for all the province in this area, Tartaria area, we'll keep them. Second, release vassals near the frontier, so they'll help your next war more efficiently. Like release some vassal here for the European battle, vassal here for battle with Mamluk or Ottoman later. This area for the Indian conquest, and this area's vassal for main and southern and eastern conquest. That's a second. The third guideline, which is quite important, you need to keep an eye of your own province to go further, to board new countries. Don't block yourself with your vassal. Like you see here, this province is under coin now because I need this as my province to enter Mamluk or Arabian, and I'll get CB as well. For the other province highlighted in green here, I didn't start call on that yet because I don't need them. I'll release that to the vassals. There's another better example here in northern Italy. You see, I'm calling this province to forming an isle that's entering France area. That helped me to get the CB with France, and more importantly, I built a land connection. Later, France can also be added into HRE. And for the other province I'm not calling now, I'll release them to my vassals. And now it's 1479, right after the Total War II. As you see, we've conquered France, Iberia, the Timor, and many other areas. So you see in this map mode, these are the new vassals, HRE vassals we released after Total War I. They helped in our Total War II. And now it's after Total War II. So we just give this province to my vassal, Avaria vassal, who is the only non-HRE vassal right now, to isolate my capital. By the way, you see a very high liberty desire because there's over 200 come from the very low diplomatic reputation, which is contributed by the very high OE. We talked about this in my last video. Although it's very high, it doesn't cause any real trouble. After the call finished, it becomes normal. So it just looks scary, but nothing happened. So now we find a Muslim province, quit the trade company. Then we can click join HRE and play the Night King approach again. You see, all the province, no matter their religions, no matter they have core or not, all the province is in the HRE, even including the province in the North Africa through the strait. So that's really insane because I don't need to worry about my administrative capacity. According to the 3 guidelines, I just release more vassals to join my vassal swarm. The Light King's dead army just becomes stronger and stronger. The same process after Total War III. It's 1483 now after Total War III. We've conquered all Indian, then North and East Africa, Ottoman, etc. You see, these new added HRE vassals is what we released after Total War II, especially like France and Iberia countries here. They are released after Total War II. Some of them joined Total War III here. So the same as before, use Varia to isolate our capital. Then click join HRE and all the province in Europe, Asia, Africa, they'll join HRE. That's the Night King. That's how Night King approach works. I cannot add Britain Island into HRE, but I can give those land to my HRE vassals in the Normandy area. That also helps. Later, after 19 times of tech switch, get buffs from new mission trees, and form Mongolian Emperor, I released more vassals. I keep those trade company province to get more merchant and release other vassals to save administrative capacity before entering stage 3, conquer the new world. And this is the final picture. We have 242 vassals within HRE now. So that's what I called Night King approach. Do you think it's an exploit or not? Welcome to leave your comment here. Okay, Q&A session. I saw some people asking why I can convert to Catholic in 1466. Because from the map, it looks like I don't have too much Catholic province yet. Some other people asking whether I let the Catholic rebel pop up to convert more province. I'll explain that. I have 3 tips here. First, I do let the Catholic rebel pop up from this province. So you can see there's a province modifier recent rebel. It pop up in 1465. Then the Catholic rebel, it actually crossed Lithuania and conquer and convert my 3 provinces here. You cannot manage where they go. It's hard to control. So this method help a little, but don't fully rely on rebels. Second, don't raise the new conquered Catholic province until the religion conversion. That will keep the, you can start to call that first, but don't raise that later. The third one, exploit the Sunni province. You can see all the exploit button is gray for Sunni province because I've already decreased their development to make sure Catholic have higher development than Sunni. By using all these 3 methods, like rebel convert 3 province, raise the new conquered Catholic province later, and exploit a Sunni province development, I can convert to Catholic in 1466. That's all for the Night King approach. If you like my video, please subscribe, like, and share. Okay, that's all. Thank you.